Hi everybody, welcome to Painting for Pleasure. I'm your host Tony Visco and we're going to do a beach scene today. Well, a beach scene, let me just rephrase that a little bit. I took a couple of shots while I was down the Cape in the wintertime, cold weather, like it is today actually. And you couldn't really walk the beach without putting on a heavy coat. It's sort of lousy, raining, miserable. And I think we're gonna do something like that. Overcast, heavily overcast. The sky was pretty good, but there was no real sun coming down or highlighting everything. It was just pretty much of an even day. So we're gonna end up capturing that. We're gonna do that. We're gonna do the sand a little bit on the cool side. So let's get started. And we'll get started by taking some water and wetting our sky and the sand area. And so I want to just get some clean water here, and we'll just start to do that. And the way I'm going to handle this is that I'm going to end up coming in here and we're going to do the sky. And I'm going to do the sky, interestingly enough, I'm going to do the sky with a little bit more interest in it. Okay, so we'll start with water. And we're going to come over here and we're just going to come down into the area. Actually, we can go right through this. There's no reason why we can't go right through that, because those are the two posts that I have up there, because quite frankly, it really makes no difference. But we're going to make this a little bit on the bright side. We'll come in here and we'll just do a little bit of nice bright, using the cadmium yellow in that situation right there. And we're going to go up and come in here and we're going to end up doing a cool blue for the top area. We're going to leave some white between the two, and maybe marry some cool cloud kind of stuff in this area right here. So we're going to let that go. Leave a little bit of white. I'm not going to worry about too much this white area. I want some of that to be cloud. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and I'm going to make something that's really dark back in this area. And the way I'm going to handle that is to come down here. This is the ground cover. And we're going to end up coming in here and we'll wet the area. We'll wet this little area right here. All right. And it's going to be our ground cover. And put a little water in here. And we're going to just go right out to this point. All right. And we'll pick up a little bit of my yellow ochre, I guess, is what we're going to do, start with. And we'll come in here and we'll give this a little strong yellow ochre in there. And as we come out, change it up a little bit. We're going to get a little bit brighter. As we go out here. All right, so that's something going on. Now, again, this was a cool day, but I'm going to change it up a bit. That's my background. Okay, we have water. So we're going to end up doing the same thing with this. We got nice, strong, vibrant water that's coming in right into the area over here. So let's wash my brush out, pick up some nice cobalt blue. We're going to come in here and we're going to give myself a little dark area as I come over here of water. All right, that's off in the distance. And as the water comes closer to me, I'm going to lighten it up. So we'll do that with a little bit of cerulean blue. All right, a little bit of water. Now, we're going to make use of the, we're going to actually make use of the water that's feathering up there, because a lot of what's happening over here is marsh grass. So I'm not too worried about that stuff, the blue feathering up. That's not going to be an issue. But I do want to get enough in here so that I have a nice general overall feel going on here of water coming in, and a little bit of water there. And again, I'm going to go back to cooling it down as it comes forward, so we're going to end up with a little bit of opera mixed up with a little bit of lavender as I come in closer over here to the shore. Change it up a bit. We've got some rocks over here, and we're going to end up making a transition in coming in here. And the water is going to be less, a little bit white. You notice what I did here? A little bit of white here, coming up into this area. Okay, so that's my water. And I know it's going relatively quickly. This may not take as long to do this as we normally would take, but I just want you to show you that if you work sort of, interestingly, if you work quickly, you can lay in a lot of this value without too much of a problem. We have a dark area that is, as I look at this, well, let's see. Never mind. I'm not even going to put it in because it's not going to make any sense if I do. So what we'll do is we'll just come in here and we'll start to build our rock area, and we can do some darks in that area. But you see what's happening here is that this is all going to sort of dry out, and then as it gets damp, I'm going to put in a little bit more of my mountain, or my, let's say, my hill, my sand dunes in this area right here. So assuming that this is the top of my sand dunes, let's just start to come down a little bit off the dunes. And I'm basically using warmer tones for the sand. Okay, now this is still watery, but we're going to change it up a bit and get a little bit more pigment in this. And we're just going to start to get some nice light areas of sand in my orange or my cadmium yellow. And we're going to get a little bit greener as we go back here. All right. And we're going to do some of that right in here. Okay. So we got a bit of a sand dune. Maybe there's a shadow in the dune here. And maybe I'll make this a little bit more shadowy. Let's bring some of that in. Okay? All right. So you can see this is going to be lightening. It lightened up a little bit. But I'm really going to get some real darks back here. Okay, so now what I have is, I got some rocks, I have a few figures, and if I really take a look at my rocks, I can do these in neutral tones, the rocks. All right, just all I'm doing is bringing some shapes in here, some light neutral tones. We'll put some dark tones in later, but we're just basically going to do dead blues and browns. Maybe a little bit of some light area, and a little light on the top of them. All right. My lights. Now I'm doing this. This is a small work. It's 7 by 10 that I'm working on. But I think this is a good size for me for the camera. That's why I'm doing it. So we're going to just put some reasonably good dark rock structure in here. All right. And I've got this area right here, which we are going to do. We're going to do some large landmass. Let's see. Back in this area here. Okay. Okay. A little bit of water. It's still too wet. Or if I'm going to do something like that, what I have to do is I have to get, as an example, less water. Brush has got to be a little bit drier, so we'll pick up more pigment. As an example, yeah. I'm going to mix the pigment a little bit heavier and it's supposed to watery. And this is sort of a combination of my cerulean blue, cobalt blue, and my yellow ochre. And so that I can come in here and that will stay. All right. So if these are dunes, you may have some dune grass on the tops of these dunes, right? All right, so we want to create a beachy scene. Now this is, I'm making this up. I mean, essentially I took the shot, but I'm adding some stuff in here that was not on the beach, right? So the same thing is going to hold true down in this area here, because if I actually have if I have dune grass over here, you know, I'm going to want to create some of that. So what I'm doing is I'm just sort of building this up a little bit. All right. So my dune grass is in here. This is all and then we have, what did I just say? Light. Right. Sand dunes, dune grass. What I'm doing is I'm taking over here. There's a bridge that you walk out. There's a walkway, a bridge that's been built so that you can go way out to this area out here. And we're going to end up putting my land spit will be a little darker over there. All right, a little bit more interest in these rocks, and that we have light coming from, say, up this way coming down. Maybe the rock is going to be a little darker. So we need to do, some of the structure is going to be darker in certain areas. Usually what ends up happening is that where the rocks kiss the ground it's a little bit more interesting here. Okay. So what I'm really doing is just coming in here. We got this sort of real darker rock that's right there. Maybe we got a little figure right here. Somebody is standing way out here. Maybe you got a little one over here too. So let's go back and get my dark. What I'm doing is I'm just coming over here and trying to get, there you go. Okay, a couple of people that are over there. Okay, so what else do we have? We have this pole. And most of this stuff, because I'm working off of a small format, like I said, 7x10. We're just going to come in here and we're going to put these dark poles in. And what I'm doing is I want to break this up a little bit. I want some of it to be dark, but I want some of it to be on the lighter side too. And so I'm just sort of taking this value or color. Well, it's value as well, right? We come down here with a pole, a little bit of water, take a little bit of yellow ochre. We'll come down. Okay, there's one. We'll darken that up a little bit. We're going to do the same thing with this here. We're coming up, whoops. Don't want to get too heavy. Now I'm putting some, notice what I'm doing is I'm actually going to darken this up, but I'm basically putting some warm colors in first. On all of this stuff. Then I'll put some cooler colors in, cooler and darker values. But we got a couple of things here. You know, we have a big, one right here. All right. Nice and strong top. Alright. Same thing with over here, under here. We're going to make this a little bit dark. I wanted some warmth underneath that. Alright. Okay. Wet all of this. Okay, we'll wet all of that. But before I wet all of that, because I want to get a little bit more of this, let me get my rigger. I'm going to end up doing I want to see if I can get, well, you know what, I'll tell you what I'll do. Here, let's show you a little trick as we do this. Well, we're going to get a credit card. Hang on. Okay, so I have a credit card in hand, and I'm going to wet the edge of the credit card. And what I'm going to do is I want to pick up some value. Let's just see if I can stamp this. There you go, so I can get some straight lines. Okay, and I can do the same thing with putting a little bit of value in here. Okay, let's get this line a little straighter. All right. Just so this is all I'm doing is I'm putting a little bit of interesting value in that, strong value, and it's nice and thin. And I can do that with the credit card, or I can do it with other things as well. But you can do it with a credit card, and that's kind of interesting to do. So we'll put that credit card back here. But we'll finish it. We'll top this off a little bit with my. Because we want to top the top off. Because it's really pretty dark. All right, we'll do a little dry brush. With that background, see? I'll pop that out. Again, a little dry brush. And the dry brush, if you just put it down here nice and light, you don't touch the... What can happen, you can get some nice darks, but you're just kissing it, you're just feathering it. All right. Same way with this here, look. If you put your brush down too heavy, what's going to end up happening is that you're going to end up with a line that's too thick. All right. And you can do this in multiple colors. You don't need to do it all in the... You know, this is that little nuances that you're going to put in here. Maybe a little bird. We'll do that later. We'll do a couple little things later on. Now, I got... Back on the shore area here, we have... You know, we've got grass in here. Dune grass, right? You guys are saying, okay, Dad, but why aren't we doing everything else first? Well, because usually I wait till the end to do this stuff. Well, I want to just want to get a little bit of value in here. Here's the water, this is the land right here. All right. Okay, we can do the same thing with it. Whoops, see, too much water. We don't want a lot of water in this. We want more pigment than water. That's the key. You got to be careful about this. You put too much water in here, and it's going to dissipate. It's going to. So it's a subtle change. So let's do this. Let's get. All right. So we got this going for us. And what we have is we have a landmass over here. Make it darker. And what do we have? We have this bridge. It goes out here to the point. All right. Nice and easy. We'll darken this up a little bit here. We need some darks and we need some lights. Okay, so here we go. Look. All we're doing is just creating a little bit of dark and a little bit of light. These are just shapes, just little shapes that we hope will look a bit like rocks. A little bit of scrapes, a little bit of shapes. Look at this. We have a nice shape here. Coming down. That's that nice dark that's over there. A lot of rocks that are over there. Got a little guy that's back here. Okay, and we don't really have to see a lot of that's going on over here. We don't really want to see a lot that's going on. No need. But we do want to get the feeling that there's something that's going on back here, dunes or whatever, right? So it's a little bit of the sand dunes over in the Truro area on the beach, and a little bit of Gray's Beach, which is where we took this, but I just fudged all of this other stuff over here. All right, so this is all marsh grass. This is all, so it's a place where the sea goes out, but the water comes in. It's just a lot of marsh. It's absolutely a lot of marsh grass. All right, so we want it a little bit darker way out here. Not much. This is very light where the water's crawling up here. White water's coming in. All right. All right. So we got water coming in on the beach. Now, here's the thing. I got to make all of this stuff nice and sandy. Then we can do our figure. So if I take a little bit of nice fresh water, come in here. So I guess it's not so fresh, is it? It's got a little value to it. A little dirty value, actually. But we'll make it work. We'll make it work. We're just going to take this is going to be nice and sandy, just soft sand. And the only way you can get soft sand, real soft sand, is to make sure that we got this all nice and wet. Very light. We're just kissing this. Right, a little bit of gray. A little bit of gray area. Some of the sandy area right here, for instance. Right. See how light that is? It's super light. Don't want to get too dark. Just a little bit of. I don't want. That's what I don't want. I don't want a lot of water. No, we don't want a lot of water in this at all. We want a lot of pigment, much more pigment. More pigment than water. Okay. Pigment. Okay. All right. All right. Not too much of that stuff, just a little bit. Okay. Now, let's do something else here. We have two people. We have a person that's back here. And we got two people that are over here. We got this woman. Let's say it's breezy, it's sandy. Her hair. Her hair is sort of just blowing in the wind here. Okay. And the key element here is to keep these people nice and bright. I want to do. I think I want to do. do I want to do here? Yeah, I think I'll make it, I'll make her pink. All right, so I'm going to make the, make her hood, or him, or her hood, her jacket that she's got, this rain jacket that she's got on, sort of like flesh toned. Okay, and we'll just, I'm going to just wash this down. All right. Okay. Good. Looks good, pretty good. All right, lighter on the top, darker on the bottom. Nice strong. A little hood for this person here. All right. I don't want to get it too Whoops. Well, too late. Maybe it'll work out for us. Whoops. Introduce a little bit of that. Give some of the color is going to be influenced, I guess. That's what I think. All right. And all right. And let's get the pants in. Let's say gotta do something over here. We got that. Just a couple of interesting areas. If I want this white to stand out, I have to make this a little bit darker down here. All right. Signboard. And we need, actually we need to bury that, don't we? It's gonna have to be buried in the grass. I mean, buried in the sand. Okay. Now we have a dark pair of pants on this person. Make that dark. And make this dark. Right, because the light's hitting it. Well, it's still a little bit wet. It's all right, we'll fix that. Okay. And what are we going to do here? We're just going to get some super dark. We don't have to oh, too wet. Yeah. It's a sort of dry brush. We're just doing, it's not quite a dry brush, but it's a little bit wet, but I'm stroking it like a dry brush. Okay. Same way with this one here. And the same way with, let's just get this other person here. We'll do the same thing right here. All right. I can do this with this brush. If this was a bigger piece, I would be doing it with a little bit of a bigger brush. All right. Like the idea. All right, so let's get some. That's dark. And as we get closer to this edge, probably a little bit bluer, okay. Okay, we're going to darken it up. And you know why? The idea here is very simple. There's always a change in value. There's always a change in value when you're doing this stuff. Okay. And then you get this. Okay. Always a change in value. And this could be darker. A little bit of darkness here. Right? Right here. And maybe the lower leg is a little bit darker. Oop. Light dark, light dark. Okay. Okay, something like that. A little bit like this. Wow, big deal right here. Excuse me. Alright. Okie doke. All right. So we're just going to do this because we're going to darken these shoes up a bit, simply because it's light sand, right? And there's a slight, a little value change and a little bit of a shadow. Okie doke. We're just going to make some lines in here. That's all we're doing. You know, some straw, what looks like weed lines, I guess. Nice and thin. Nice and light, nice and thin. Maybe a stick. Couple of sticks. Let's say, usually what ends up happening on these the seagrass that's brought up here, there's all kinds of crap in it. So what I'm doing is I'm doing this, I got my base color in there. I'm just kind of doing some real thin line work here. I guess just enough to tell the story, you know, just, we don't want too much. We just want enough to make sure that we understand the story of seagrass. And do this with a sponge too. Here I'll do a little bit of a, maybe we'll do a little bit of it with a sponge. But we don't want a lot of seagrass. What we want is just enough to tell the story. So if I take a little sponge, let's see, yeah, just a little bit of this. See this right here? This little sea sponge that I got. All right, so we're just going to take. Take a little bit of that, and I can actually just put a little bit of just a little bit, okay? That's what I'm talking about, just a little. All right, and then Just a tad, just a touch. Just a little bit. I don't want to do too much. And what I want to do is I want to create some ruts. I want to create some ruts in the sand. All right. As if we had a tire truck come out. I mean, a vehicle come out of here. A little directional stuff that happens. And of course, you know, I mean, the one thing that we can all be sure of is that if we have people there, we have to have footprints coming out too. A little shadow. I don't have to make the footprints really pronounced. I just need to sort of put them in here. And a little spray. Soft. All right. Soft. Let me get a little water. And let's see if we can do it another way here. I'm using my tissue, picking up a little bit of color. I don't. We want a little bit, not too much. I want to soften this. All right. Okay, just enough to say, just enough to make the statement. That's it. Okay, so the only other thing we need to do is to do some darkening up of certain areas. A little touch of this. Make this a little bit darker there. Some dark in there. Make this cool. Looks good. Got a nice feel to it. It's nice and fresh. Got a white sign over there. You know what we'll do? It looks to me like we got something that's something that's going to be hanging right here. I know what. You know what I'm going to do is I'm not going to do it with that brush. Go back and use my rigger. Dry brush it. Okay, so we have all right. I got some white light, something that's white here, and gonna put a little dark area underneath that, right here. Interesting stuff we got going on here. Little things, little things here and there. Yeah, we got. Something on the pole there. I don't know what this is, but we'll just put something in there that just, what we're doing is creating just some interest. Let's do a little bit of a dark, a little bit more of a dark area underneath this. Right there. All right, I think that's about it. A couple of people out here, my bridge. I know what we'll do. Let's just do a couple of these. I don't know, there's sort of poles or something in the air. Couple here. Something there. And we'll just soften this up. Cool. The little darks. That's all we need, man. A little something. Got a little line here. And then we got a line there, right? Let's see if I can get this. See if I can get this. Drag this. So. Little line that's there. Oh, so it came up here. So what we're going to do is attach it to a pole up in this area here. All right. Okay, enough done. I guess it's enough done. I think it's done. I think so. You know, the problem is though, if we continue to do this, it's just going to be too much. I think we'll call it a painting. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being with me. I appreciate your time. This is Tony Visco. And please remember that when you pick up a paintbrush, you're always painting for pleasure. Hope you had fun with this one. Thanks. Bye-bye.